everybody. I'm Skip Alzheimer. Welcome to the AV Geeks Lunchtime streaming show, where we watch old 16mm films and comment on them. Some of these are still issues and things that we reflect upon today. So we always have the benefit of hindsight to look and see what they got right, what they got wrong. And these are, this last film was a documentation of cattle being driven to grasslands and ultimately getting on a train bound for stockyards, which they would then be butchered and cut up into delicious cuts of meat for those of you that eat meat. But some of this has changed radically as far as beef and what they're eating and how they're being dealt with. This isn't the place to talk about it because I don't have that footage, but there you go. Anyways, let's dive in deep into the Aquarium Wonderland. Enjoy.
Deep down in the ocean's ear are some very unusual things, unusual and often colorful. Unfortunately, very little of this ocean life can be seen. A great deal can be learned about water life, however, by studying the wonders within a small aquarium, an aquarium no larger than this one. The plant and animal life found here have much in common with the plant and animal life found in great oceans, lakes, and rivers. For example, we can learn about the wonderful way that animals breathe underwater. Notice that this goldfish appears to be drinking. He's really breathing underwater. Water usually contains invisible bubbles of oxygen called free oxygen. Fish breathe free oxygen with a pair of organs called gills, which are located inside the body. The gills look like several rows of bright red combs, but are really hundreds of small blood vessels covered with thin layers of skin. In human beings, the blood comes to the lungs for oxygen. In fish, the blood comes to the gills for the same purpose. This is the way it happens. The fish opens his mouth and takes in water. The water contains invisible bubbles of free oxygen. When the fish closes his mouth, he is able to force the water through his gills. While the water passes through the gills, the blood absorbs the free oxygen directly out of the water. Then the water is forced out the gill opening. The oxygen it once contained is now in the fish's bloodstream. It's difficult to believe that fish have any blood just by looking at them with the naked eye. But the next picture offers proof that fish do have blood. This is a small section of a goldfish's tail, greatly magnified. Here the fish's tiny heart is pumping blood throughout its body, just as in a human body. The oxygen this blood contains is feeding all parts of the fish's body. Oxygen is of life-giving importance to fish, just as it is to humans. Some oxygen enters the water directly from the open air. Some of it is manufactured by plants and released in the water. In this aquarium, a special air pump helps add free oxygen to the water. Fish are remarkable in more ways than one, whether they are found in an ocean or a small aquarium. Instead of having arms and legs like land animals, they have fins. Goldfish have 7 fins in all. Each fin can be opened or closed by small rib-like bones. By moving the various fins in certain ways, fish can travel in any and all directions. They can go up or down. They can go sideways. They can move their fins so gently that they stand still. Fish can even swim backwards. Most fish have a nose. These 2 little dots are the nostrils. A fish can often locate food by smell. Besides an ear located inside its body, a fish has an unusual nerve organ called a lateral line, which is located just beneath the scales. The lateral line can feel very high sounds. It combines the senses of both hearing and touch. The ocean contains a variety of water life, but only a small number of animals can be kept in an aquarium. One interesting water animal that lives quite well in any small aquarium is a snail. A snail breathes the same as a fish, except it has only one gill. If it were not able to fold up into its shell, a snail would soon be eaten by hungry fish. Seen through the glass aquarium wall, the snail makes an interesting sight as it eats the tiny plants called algae that grow there. When setting up a new aquarium, a few very important things must be remembered. First of all, the aquarium tank is placed on a firm support. Then the bottom of the tank is prepared. To do this, some coarse sand is washed in running water. Sand from ocean beaches cannot be used. It is too salty. After a while, all the dirt washes away, leaving only clean sand. Then the bottom of the aquarium is covered with the sand. 10 pounds of it is just enough for this 5-gallon aquarium. Some plants are placed in the sand. They not only make the aquarium look nice, but more important, they help add oxygen to the water. Water is then added. The saucer helps keep the sand and plants from washing away. Ordinary drinking water often contains too much of the chemical chlorine. Fish become sick in this kind of water, so the aquarium is allowed to stand just like this for a week. This ages the water and causes the chlorine to disappear. Before putting in fish, the temperature of the water the fish are in and the temperature of the aquarium water are checked. They should be nearly the same, for fish cannot stand too sudden a change in temperature. This is the correct way to accustom fish to a new temperature. The temporary goldfish home will float this way for half an hour, while the two temperatures slowly become equal. Then the goldfish can be released. For every gallon of water, 1 snail can also be added. Snails help keep the aquarium clean. Unless an air pump is used to help add oxygen to the water, there must not be too many fish in the aquarium. If there are too many fish, there will not be enough free oxygen for all of them. There should be at least 1 gallon of water for every inch of fish. This 5-gallon aquarium has room to spare for these 3 1-inch goldfish. Only one person should do the feeding each day, as it is dangerous to overfeed fish. A small amount of food is enough for 3 or 4 average-sized goldfish. About once a week, a dip tube is used to clean out the bottom of the aquarium. The dirty water is discarded and fresh water that has been aged for a week is added to refill the tank. These goldfish are happy for 3 reasons. 1, their aquarium is not overcrowded. 2, they get just enough food each day, never too much. And 3, they are happy because they never have a sudden change in temperature. Even under these ideal conditions, goldfish seldom lay eggs in an aquarium, although it is possible. If this were to occur, the eggs would have to be removed to a separate bowl, for many fish cannot resist eating them. When greatly magnified, the eggs at first show no signs of life. But within a day or two, they begin to take the shape of tiny fish, curled into tight little balls. On the 4th or 5th day, the fish are born. One by one, they break out of their soft shells to become living, breathing members of the wonderful world of water animals. The little fish instinctively hide among the leaves of water plants. In a few weeks, they are big enough to be placed in the main aquarium. When they grow older, however, they must be removed. Otherwise, the aquarium will soon be overcrowded. There are other wonders to be found in an aquarium, wonders among both plants and animals. For an aquarium no larger than this one is truly one of nature's wonderlands. By seeing some of the things that live here, we are better able to understand more about the many strange things that live in the great bodies of water which are all around us.
So I didn't have fish, but my parents did. I tried to do sea monkeys a couple of times, and that did not work. Usually a fly would get in it, and then it would destroy the delicate balance of the ecosystem of the little fish bowl that I had the sea monkeys in. And I mean, they were just brine shrimp, so it wasn't really a big deal. Let's see. So we've got behind me telecine, and we have a film set up. This is what we use to transfer films live, and this is one of the exciting things about doing this streaming show is I'm able to go to the back, pull a film, and we can watch it live. Unfortunately, sometimes YouTube and or Facebook decide that whatever I'm showing I don't have the rights to, and they shut it down. But I feel like this one's going to be safe. Knock on these wall of DVDs that I have over here. All right, so this is At Your Fingertips, Sugar and Spice. This is a series about crafts, arts and crafts, doing various types of things with different types of elements. There's one about boxes, there's one about cylinders, and this one is kind of interesting because it is sugar and spice. All right, enjoy.
This icing can also be used for decoration. With food coloring, you can make the sugar any color you want. Almost any smooth, hollow shape will hold the sugar. A clove makes a good bird's beak. Light comes through the sugar crystals and lights the inside of the egg. If your mold is paper or cardboard, line it with plastic so the sugar won't stick. sugar you add to the moist background will stick to it when both are dry and hard. Some parts you can shape with your fingers or a spoon. Whatever mold you use, be sure to pack the sugar tightly and allow it to dry thoroughly before handling it. It's fun to make things of sugar, and they are good to eat.
For that one. I have eaten one of those sugar eggs, or at least tried to eat it, and it just tasted like sugar. It wasn't really a big deal. There wasn't any flavoring beyond just the sugar, so it wasn't worth it. And I'm surprised nobody talked about Squid Games, that game with eating the sugar candy that's just like this kind of... Anyways, let's see, what do we got set up? Oh yeah, so this is a great, I showed another episode of this. This is Kitty Camera, which is a newsreel for kids, and purported, when? My mouth today. Anyways, this supposedly is by kids, but it's not really, obviously, but it's for kids. So here's Kitty Camera.
Kitty Camera takes you back to the land of dinosaurs. The zoo in Calgary, Ontario, Canada, has a section with replicas of prehistoric monsters. Dinosaurs, winged lizards, pterodactyls, and brontosauruses are everywhere in evidence. One of the kids has watched so many TV westerns, he's ready to pretend that he is on a bucking bronco. These are the very same monsters that would have struck terror in the hearts of the caveman. But Canada's kitties just look at these awesome creatures and laugh. And all of their pet dogs would like to get at this dino's bones. Times certainly change. and this young champ on wheels is A-OK. To prove it, Teddy gives Kitty Camera the OK sign.
I think I have 3 episodes of this that I scanned for a collector in Massachusetts, and I'm sure there was more. And these are probably... See, they don't have Castle Films logo anywhere on them, but my feeling is that this is probably something that was distributed like either through official films or for home use. I don't know if this was ever shown in a theater, but I don't know, maybe. But what I do know is this next film is about your mouth, so buckle up.
For the first 6 months, a baby lives, learns, and loves almost entirely through its mouth. For the next 70 years or so, the mouth will be its main organ for communication, and everything the body needs for growth will be taken in through it. Many aspects of the mouth are among the most interesting in the human body, and its development from baby to adult one of the most complex, as X-rays reveal. At birth, hidden by the gums, the temporary or milk teeth are already partly formed. Even at this early age, the minute buds of the first permanent teeth are developing deep within the jaws. During the next 2 years, the temporary front teeth erupt through the gums. Even as the temporary teeth are growing, behind them the permanent front teeth develop. Around the age of 6, the first permanent molars break through. By 7, the jaws seem full of teeth. Some of the temporary teeth are being lost, and the permanent teeth pushing through to replace them. By about 10, there's room for the final permanent molars to form, often called the wisdom teeth. 20 years of growth and a fully developed mouth. Jaws and teeth are arranged for life. As the jaws and teeth grow, so do the soft tissues. The gums are the surface skin, a constantly renewing surface protecting the junction between teeth and bone. Then the tongue, 2/3 in the mouth, 1/3 in the pharynx. Almost all muscle. Of the many muscles in this area, the largest are for chewing. They move the jaw. Surfacing the whole area is a profusion of nerves, motor, sensory, and autonomic, interwoven with a network of blood vessels, from arteries to the finest capillaries. So near the surface is the capillary network, it's plainly visible through the mucous membrane and gives the mouth its pink-red color. The soft palate and uvula, all part of a complex and perfectly evolved system. The mandible, or lower jaw, has sideways and rotary actions, as well as a powerful closing action. Movement made possible by a form of hinge and sliding joint between mandible and skull. The front teeth are sharp to cut and tear. The lips form a seal to retain both food and drink. Biting is voluntary. Chewing involves many reflex and unconscious actions. The tongue maneuvers food between the molar teeth, where it's crushed into small pieces ready for swallowing. To swallow, the tongue rises to the roof of the mouth and forces the food into the throat. At normal speed, the whole process of mastication and swallowing is extremely quick. The mouth includes many safety devices. Just as a baby uses its mouth to test objects, so does an adult. The tongue, the mucous membrane, and the lips are among the most sensitive areas of the body. Between the ice and the coffee, there is a difference of 70 degrees centigrade, extremes which other skin surfaces find hard to tolerate. The lips can sense temperatures accurately and tell us when they're acceptable. With food, too, the mouth protects the body, distinguishing the acceptable from the unwanted. It's extremely sensitive to shape, size, and texture of objects, and rejects them when unsuitable. Test this with a metal pellet. Of course, teeth can be broken on things like this, but it doesn't happen often. The moment the teeth detect the ball, the jaws stop closing. Where the tooth surfaces bit the metal, the forces may be extremely high, yet the teeth didn't break, and the chewing stopped. Why? The answer is not to be found at the top of the tooth. The enamel, almost entirely mineral, has no feeling. Though only 1 or 2 millimeters thick, it's nearly as hard as diamond. Beneath the protective enamel is the more sensitive dentin. And beneath that, the dental pulp, containing blood capillaries and nerve endings. But it's the periodontal membrane linking tooth and jaw bone, which is the major safety device. During chewing, the fibers act as multiple shock absorbers. It is the nerves here which transmit the main warning of excessive pressure. All in all, a complex and highly efficient safety system. Teeth are tough. The hardness of enamel gives great durability. His teeth formed 1,000 years ago, yet they've not decomposed.
But enamel has one weakness. It can be attacked by acid. It will dissolve in a concentration no greater than plain lemon juice. Once the surface of the enamel has been dissolved away, the network of its structure is exposed and unprotected. But in the mouth, the dissolving action of acids, like lemon juice, is slowed down because of the protection given by saliva. It washes and cleans and is also slightly alkaline. Glands at the back of the jaw and below the tongue secrete this sticky liquid, which moistens the whole area. Each day, about 3/4 of a liter of saliva pours into the mouth, ending up as around 600 separate swallows. Only during sleep does saliva flow nearly stop. Hard particles which might harm the body are wrapped in saliva, which also lubricates the mouth and pharynx. The constant flow helps wash away food debris. Many factors increase the rate of saliva flow. Merely looking at food can stimulate the flow, or smelling it, or even talking about it. Saliva is also necessary for another function of the mouth. Only when foods are in solution can they be tasted. A dry lump of sugar is tasteless until saliva starts to dissolve it. Taste is detected by thousands of minute taste buds. Those at the back of the tongue are grouped in clusters below the surface. Saliva, with food in solution, reaches them through narrow channels. There are only 4 basic tastes: sour, a reaction to acids; sweet; bitter; and salt. But the way in which we identify so many different flavors is largely by our sense of smell. Tastes and smells are often confused. But the sense of smell is much more discriminating. Aromas are detected at the back of the nose, and what you think you're tasting, you may in fact be partly smelling. Without sight and smell, onion could be confused with apple. Taste, when combined with smell, is another device to guard the body. Yet the mouth is a main point of entry for microorganisms, possibly millions every day. There may be bacteria, and their presence is natural. Though sometimes harmful, in a healthy mouth they normally exist in a state of balance. Because we eat soft, sticky foods rather than raw and tough foods, a minute layer of saliva and food debris forms around and in between the teeth. It becomes bound to the tooth surface. When left undisturbed, bacteria grow, and after a few hours, a layer called plaque forms. Magnifying 17,000 times, we can see the bacteria within the plaque. At first, they're relatively harmless, but soon the layer thickens and the bacteria flourish, using sucrose from sweet foods to coat themselves in a form of glue. Unless cleaned away, the bacteria will convert this sugar into lactic acid. This weakens the tooth enamel, which dissolves, opening the rest of the tooth to attack. Beneath the damaged surface, the decay has already penetrated much further. The unique development of the human mouth is speech. It draws on the whole mouth's sensitivity and dexterity. Palate, tongue, teeth, and lips all work in precise coordination to mold and shape the simple sounds produced by the larynx into intelligible speech in infinite variety.
Mag ik u heel erg bedanken. Ndiza kuthetha isiXhosa. Thank you very much.
This, then, is our mouth, the channel connecting our body with the outside world. With it, we select the materials we need. Served by a delicate system of nerves, blood vessels, and muscles, the growth of the mouth is one of the most complicated developments in the human body. From first to last, it's the medium through which we express our ideas and communicate our needs.
Here's a kind of cool transition. So this is an x-ray of my mouth and neck that I had done on Friday because I have a pinched nerve, which is causing me a great deal of pain and numbness on part of my fingers. And anyways, so I'm going to leave early because I have to go meet with the doctor to interpret these x-rays and to determine what my course of action is going to be. So thanks for joining me. Oh, let me turn this on. All right, back. If you like what you saw, you can buy us coffee at ko-fi.com/avgeeks. You can also go to avgeeks.com and buy DVDs. You can hit the thumbs up. You can hit the like. I saw a lot of new faces today on YouTube, and that's great. I love that fact, and we do this every weekday at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time when I'm in town. We do it live, and when I'm not in town, we might pre-record it or might do it remotely from somewhere else. But thanks again for tuning in. Thanks for your comments and your obsession with the R Gang comedies that kept popping up. I hope to see you again tomorrow, and everybody take care.